There he is.
Sup?
There's this guy. Brent Smith, how are you, buddy?
I'm good. I'm only 1 minute late.
That's that's all right, man. That is way more punctual than rock star time should be, my friend.
Ain't no rock stars here, man. I'm just
Get
happy to be here.
out of here. Come on now. How have you been, Brent? It's been a bit, dude. How are you?
I'm well. What's going on in your world? How's DC treating you?
DC is good, man. We're getting ready for next weekend. We got the Out of the Darkness walk, which is why I wanted to talk to you today. And we got,
Right.
some shows coming up, and we got all kinds of stuff going on. So DC's doing great, my brother.
Well, thank you for taking the time to talk to me today. Obviously, you know, the walk is a huge part of the band. The American Foundation for Suicide Prevention is a big part of the band. And DC101 is a staple when it comes to Shinedown. So I'm honored to be in your presence, man.
Well, thank you, Brent. Thank you. And we'll get to that in just a second. I want to talk right now first, though, because I see you're out always on the road, always doing shows, Mr. Road Warrior all the time. How's the tour going with Papa Roach right now, man? Everything I've seen, it looks like you guys are having a blast, loud and just a good time every night.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, what was interesting about this particular tour was Spirit Box and Papa Roach. They were pretty much done for the year. They were going in. Spirit Box is getting ready to release an EP, and Papa Roach has been already kind of in the studio a little bit. Both bands have been touring extensively for like the last 2 years, as we have been as well. But we had this window of time when we were finishing up the tour earlier in the year with From Ashes to New and 3 Days Grace. And I did want to do one more big chunk of shows this fall to kind of finish out the touring cycle for the Revolutions Live and the album Planet Zero for 2023. So I begged them to do it, and they said yes. So both of them did, because I had to kind of beg both of them to do it. And once we got out on the road, though, honestly, man, it should be illegal how much fun it actually is. It really should, man. After a certain point in time, like we've known Papa Roach for going on 2 decades now. They are literally the most incredible individuals that you would ever have the pleasure to come in contact. They're also extremely gifted performers, songwriters, musicians. And it's an absolute joy to be on tour with them. And that was another excuse to do it, just because we knew our schedules were going to kind of be intense, in the next 3 years. We had the opportunity to do it, so we wanted to do it. And I've been a fan of Spirit Box I found out about them about 4 years ago. I actually found out about them when Courtney was in a band called I Wrestled a Bear.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, and then they formed Spirit Box, and I was just completely just I was just starstruck by what they do, and the originality of how intense they are. And they're just the most wonderful people, Courtney and Mike, and just the band in general and their crew. So I asked them, I know they've been touring hardcore for the last couple of years with their debut, and they just had massive success in the metal community. And I wanted to introduce our audience to them and their audience to us. I'm not a fan of, what we're trying to do more than anything as Shinedown in the future, and looking at the touring that we do, not only in the States, but globally, is really having a lot of different styles of music on tour together. Last year we were able to take out John Harvey and Jelly Roll. That was amazing. Earlier last year we took out the Pretty Reckless and Diamante, but really, bringing in all kinds of music in a touring fold, where it doesn't necessarily just have to be, rock bands touring with rock bands, or metal bands touring with metal bands, or country bands touring with country bands, or alternative bands. Like, at the end of the day, man, rap music, pop music, metal music, country music, it should be about all music.
Absolutely. When you say something like that, Brent, it makes me think of all the festivals you go to. Everyone now, it's not just all like hard rock. It's not just alternative, whatever. It's a mix of everything. And actually,
Yeah.
you said Jelly Roll. You guys are going to do some stuff like, was it excuse me if I get the name wrong, Tall Boys and Tailgates? Is that what it is
Yep.
next year?
Yep. In
Like, you guys
Iowa
are doing
next
it with
year.
with some country people, with Jelly Roll and some other friends too.
Yeah, so I think it's the first time they've had like what would be considered, if you have to put a genre and kind of attach it, This particular festival, it's the first time they've had a rock band headline one
Rock
of their
band.
nights.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And, for us, you know, Jelly is the Thursday night, Bailey Zimmerman is Friday night, and Saturday night is us. But, last year, man, early in February of last year, I just told everybody, this is in 2022. I said, yo, we're going to take this young man named John Harvey out, and we were going to take an incredible force of nature named Jelly Roll with us. And at the time, everybody looked at me and they were like, what are you talking about? Like, which was kind of funny. But I will say this till the day is long. You know, I appreciate, the time that we had with John Harvey, and he's doing a lot of stuff right now from an independent standpoint. He's just an incredible young man, an incredible artist. But when I see everything that, Jelly has been put to the forefront, people need to understand something, man. That did not happen overnight.
No.
Like this man has been grinding for years. And if you get an opportunity, go watch the Hulu special on him, because it really gives you an overview of, what an incredible man he is, what an incredible story it is, because he brings so many elements to the table. But he's just a wonderful, wonderful human being, and he deserves all of this success. I'm so proud of him, man. He deserves it all.
Actually, our country sister station down the hall just had him for a show this past weekend, and everybody said he was awesome. Just had a good time with everyone, and he's
amazing
doing his set and everything. So that's going to be really cool. You guys getting to play with him and everything. And hey, why not bring the genres together? Everyone coming out, whatever works, whatever everyone has.
Yeah, you got to let the audience, tell you what's up. I mean, we have a saying in Shinedown, and we're not desensitized to this, man. Like, we have one boss in this band. It just happens to be everybody in the audience.
That's true, though. That is true.
Listen, man, I tell this to artists that are coming up. I tell this to artists that have been around for a minute too. Do not ever stop talking to your fan base, whether they've been there from the beginning or they're just kind of finding out who you are. Let them talk to you. Let them give you opinions. Let them, they're there to help you. So listen to your audience.
Especially now, Brent, when you have such an easy way with social media. You can connect on X. You're on Instagram all the time. I mean, it's so easy to get that immediate feedback from fans from the day you might put out your next album, from the day you start the tour, from the last day of the tour. You have so many ways to connect with them like that.
Yeah. And a unique thing that, the intensity of the touring industry was something that I knew during the pandemic, where everybody was just really, really freaked out and afraid and what have you. And I was sympathetic to all of those elements. But for our industry and everything kind of just stopped, I had to reinforce to everybody also. I said, you need to be prepared for when the industry comes back, because it will be something unlike you have ever seen in human history. It's basically 100 years since the Roaring 20s, from 1920. You went into 2020 when the pandemic occurred. What people didn't realize was that, when you keep people apart like that, the roar that occurs from this, where people also talk about the inflation, and they talk about, why everything is like 4 to 5 to 6 times more expensive. It's not inflation. That's just the cost of goods now. That's just the cost of living now. But the other side of that too is there's 8 billion people on the planet. And so why you're seeing this just enormous demand for live music is because people were told to stay away from each other for 2 years. We're connected by music. Like, we really, really are. We all share a human condition. That's the beauty of song. That's the beauty of, when human beings get in a room together and they create music, there's something that happens because we have an intuition. We're locked in with each other in that way. One of my favorite quotes of all time is from Friedrich Nietzsche, and he said, without music, life would be a mistake. It's a very, very powerful thing that we possess in regards to being connected to one another. So what we see now more than anything is, there's this great rush and awareness, and there's everybody and their mother is touring, but it also makes it like 100 times more competitive.
Sure, sure, absolutely. And also too, I mean, just think we're lucky here in America that bands can get to go through all the time. What about people in Australia or in you know, in Europe, some countries you might not have gotten back to yet, whatever it might be. So I
Yeah.
always say, Brent, anytime you get to go out, go see the show. It's a lot better than sitting at home on your couch watching TV. Go out and see the show, have a good time.
And also, I got to give it to Live Nation on this tour. Also, we didn't butt heads or anything like that. But the thing was is that I really connected with them early on this particular tour, and I said, listen, I understand that like front row, that ticketing may be different than like the lawn in the amphitheaters and things like that, and the further back and what have you. But you have to give an overall principle to the audience member that only has so much money to spend, and they allowed us to be able to do $25 tickets all in on most of the shows and like all the lawns and things of that nature, where people are like, oh, you mean $25 and then there's a surcharge and then it turns into 50. I'm like, no, it's like you can the shows that are remaining there, what tickets are left, you can go on shinedown.com for these remaining shows, and you can get $25 tickets all in.
That's really cool, man. That's, hey, as a fan, and I bought many tickets over the years, Brent. Thank you for doing that. That means a lot to all of us for sure.
Yeah, I just, you got to be there's the cost of touring. I should take, to the public, and I know there's going to be sound bites of this. I know media is going to grab it. But the fact of the matter is like the cost of touring in 2023, if you looked at 2019 in a lot of markets, especially in the US, it's 4 to 5 to 6 times more money than it was in 2019 just to tour. Everything is more expensive, from the buses to the trucks to the production costs, vendors, because people talk about inflation. It's not inflation. That's just the cost of living now.
Yeah, it's the way of doing business. Well, Brent, I want to talk to you more about the music industry and touring all day long, but brother, I want to also say thank you from all of us at DC101, from our friends at Lightos, our team One More Light, dude. Thank you for everything that you've done for this year and being so supportive of our team One More Light and the Out of the Darkness walk. And can I say what Shinedown's done this year? Are you okay with me telling everyone?
Yeah, man. Sure. Absolutely. We just
You
want
know,
more people to be aware of, the organization and what you guys are doing. And, this is very, very important to us. And so absolutely. Go ahead.
well, the fact that you guys gave our team, and we're going to have this for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, $75,000 this year, just this year, not including every other year past, but 75,000. Brother, man, if you were here, big hug right now for Brent and everyone in Shinedown. I love that.
No, man, we wanted to try to raise as much as we possibly could. And, just to double down on it too, I'm going to personally, for you guys also, I'm going to give of my own side another $10,000 for it as well, just to bring more awareness. So, and sometimes people are like, well, what if I don't have that kind of, what if I don't have money, or I can't do this and that and the other? Just, reposting things that you guys are talking about, and, sharing the chapters in individual cities and things of that nature, and just bringing awareness. You don't have to give money necessarily. Just, bring awareness to what's going on, because the organizations they do work and they are helping people.
Absolutely. And I'd say this, a lot when I talk about the walk coming up. It's on the 21st. We're only a couple days away. I tell everyone, hey, even if you don't have money to donate, if you had time to give and help out, volunteer at the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, if you could share our interview or my interviews with Ellen Shannon, our chapter president here in Washington.
Who's incredible, by the way.
Ellen's the best. She is awesome.
Ellen's amazing.
If anyone wants to do anything, every bit of that helps. It's money, it's awareness, it's volunteering, it's all of that. It's the walk that can help out bringing people together too. And that's why, I just want to get on here and say thank you so much, Brent, for everything you did, for Shinedown, for everybody involved, man. It really does mean the world to us.
We appreciate you all on so many different levels. And again, the one thing that I would say is that what people need to understand, and I've said this over the years, when it comes to mental health, and suicide is a very difficult subject matter to talk about. But the fact of the matter is that's how you stop it from happening, is you talk about it. How you stop it from happening is not being quiet. if you have a loved one, if you have a friend of yours, and you can tell there's a shift in the way that they are acting, those are warning signs. Like, especially when they're being quiet, and the worst thing you can do is be quiet, even if you don't have the fundamental tools from a psychological standpoint to talk to them about it. Let them know that you care and that you love them. And organizations like the AFSP, there are people that can help them, that they can talk to. They're trained. They've studied it. They do understand how to talk to people. It's a very, very sensitive subject, but the worst thing you can do is be quiet. Like, you got to talk about it. I know it can be frightening, and you don't want to, you don't want to offend someone, or you don't want to say the wrong thing. But I'm telling you right now, more so than not, suicide can be prevented just by talking about how you're feeling, or getting the person that you're concerned about to talk about how they're feeling, so that you can get them help, or get them somebody that can be able to get them in a place where they can discuss what's going on, and you could potentially save their life.
1000%. Just like you said, if you're not comfortable about talking about it with that person directly, at least if you recognize a sign, and I think we can all recognize if people are going through a rough time. If you think something's happening, there's always someone else you can talk to and have them reach out on your behalf, on that person's behalf. Just being there directly or even indirectly for someone can and will save lives.
1,000%. It's been proven time and time again. This is, like what you're talking about, talking about it does save lives.
Yeah. And even Brent, I saw that during, I forget what show it was. I'm sorry, but I saw that, you had talked about it on stage with everyone at the audience. Jacoby did as well during Papa Roach's set. And I know you do that a lot. Like, hey, bringing communities together and knowing you don't have to be a tough guy. You don't have to hide problems. Bring it out. Bring your emotions out, because that's going to make things a lot better for yourself or someone else in your same situation that could use that help too.
And by the way, the strongest thing that you can do, the toughest thing that you can do, the bravest thing that you can do is talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the thing. For the long time, when it seemed as if there was this ideology, and we all come from different generations, that if you talked about your feelings, that, you were trying to get sympathy, or that was showing a weakness. Couldn't be further from the truth.
No.
Like, it could not be further from the truth. That you have to discuss, like, your mind and your thoughts and your psychology, your mental health is just as important as your physical health. So when you're in the gym, when you're on the track, when you're, working out, when you're doing these things, you're building your body up, you're making your body stronger. The same principle to your brain is how you work your brain out is you talk about things, you learn about things, you study things, you listen to people, you compose different thought process, you gain an opinion, you learn. Like, that's how, you work this muscle up here. You know what I mean? And so
Exactly.
there's nothing weak, or you should never be embarrassed or ashamed to talk about that you're going through a tough time. We're all a work in progress, and you're allowed to have as many human moments as you need in this lifetime. So I encourage everybody, if you're having a tough time, talk to somebody.
Absolutely. Brent, again, thank you so much for everything that you and Shinedown have done for us, for DC101 and Lightos, our team One More Light. The walk's coming up on the 21st. I know you're still going to be out on the road. You can't make it for this year. I hope
I'm going to make sure, if I'm going to tell you this right now, I am going to make sure in 2024 that we make sure that window of time for the walk next year, because we've not been able to do the walk the last couple of years because we've been on tour. But we will be there in spirit. We will be there in love and appreciation. I will definitely tell you, this right here and right now. You've got me on camera. You got me on, we're recording this right now. I will be there next year.
Okay, I'm going to hold you to that. I was also talking today to the bosses here. I said, next time Shinedown's around, do you guys have your tour schedule yet for next year? Have you thought about things already?
We're getting ready to begin the process of writing some new material. We've been working on things. The only thing we have scheduled is the show next year. The
tailgate
in Iowa.
Boys.
Yeah. That's the only thing we have on the books right now.
Okay. Well, what I was thinking was, if we can work it out, if you guys are coming anytime before the walk or something, maybe we can do a fundraising thing, an acoustic set, something. I'd love to make that happen.
Let's just go ahead and put that on the books, man.
Hey,
We'll
all right.
make that happen. You
All
like you
right.
got me right here. I'm saying it. Let's make that happen.
I'm sure your managers are going to be like, "What'd you do, Brent?" All right, we're just doing it.
No. Believe me, the managers will be fine.
They'll deal with it. My people will be
Yeah.
fine. We'll get it done.
You know,
You know what? We've
I
agreed
happen
to
to, yeah, I happen to know the manager very, very well. His name is Bill McGathy, and Bill McGathy will be there with us with bells
Bill.
on.
Bill's walked with us, so I know Bill as well.
Bill's walked,
Good guy.
absolutely, man.
All right. Well, Brent, we're going to do this then. And again, man, thank you. $75,000 from Shinedown. You just committed to 10,000 more and all of that. If anyone wants to join, you still have time for this year's walk, afsp.org/DC101 or DC101.com. But most importantly, if you need a hand, afsp.org, you know, it's always there for you. And the crisis hotline as well. I mean, there's always someone there for you. Heck, call me up. Call Brent. We'll be there. I'll talk to you anytime. Anytime you want me, I'm always there for people. So, brother, thank you for this, and I will see you in person next year. It's done. It's locked in.
Absolutely. And again, you know, I want to say this to DC101. Thank you, guys and girls, for really in North America and terrestrial radio. You've really led the charge on this subject matter for quite some time. My hat's off to you. I got nothing but respect for you guys and girls. You're amazing.
Well, thank you, Brent. All right, man. Hey, have a good show tonight, and I'll see you soon, my man.
I appreciate you very much.
Thanks, brother.
Later.